to make it easier on somebody, I mean, first off, you get a hold of a realty expert like you, but there's got to be a lot of things to do to be prepared for a home inspection.
Yeah. So we'll talk kind of about the seller side of things.
Okay.
When the market was so hot that everything was selling really fast, there were bidding wars, you had a lot of people waiving home inspections to try to get their offer accepted.
Grand Forks Best Source on a Friday with John Brodeen. How about that? Got to do the applause, not only for you, John, but because it's Friday.
Yes.
How'd the rest of the week treat you, man? We were together Wednesday. How you doing today?
It was good. Kind of busy. I've got a lot of homes under contract right now, so it's kind of just watching everything, making sure things are on track to close and all that. But
You gonna get stuck working all weekend, you think?
no, I don't think this weekend. I think I'll be good.
Okay, good. Got plans for the weekend?
I've got a friend who's in town, so we're gonna get together with him.
Okay.
Not sure if we get much else going on.
All right, I'm taking off for Fargo.
Nice.
When we get done with this show, the grandkids.
Okay.
Drop a dog off. Then I'm going to the cities, and I'm going to a rib cook-off.
Oh.
And then I'm jumping on an airplane and going for a little fly. So, we always hear about this, John, things to do when you're buying or selling a home. But we always hear about home inspections. Now, to make it easier on somebody, I mean, first off, you get a hold of a realty expert like you. But there's got to be a lot of things to do to be prepared for a home inspection.
Yeah. So we'll talk kind of about the seller side of things.
Okay.
When the market was so hot that everything was selling really fast, there were bidding wars, you had a lot of people waiving home inspections to try to get their offer accepted. And, normally we do recommend getting a home inspection done, but I completely understand when you really want to get this house and it's you and another offer, and the difference maker might be one has a home inspection, one doesn't, trying to be the most attractive. Now we're back to closer to normal, still not completely back to normal. Market's still hotter than it was, in pre-COVID 2019. But when you're a seller, you want the home inspection time is a very fragile time for the buyers. They were probably really hot on your home. In the negotiations, there's that chase. Their dopamine's probably through the roof, and they're really excited about it.
Yeah, obviously.
And then they finally get an accepted offer, and they're like, "Oh, okay, wow, we've just made a giant commitment." And everybody starts to get a bit of buyer's remorse.
Sure.
The most common time that a deal falls apart is in the home inspection phase. And so you want as few things to come up on that checklist as possible to keep the buyer's minds at ease. And one of the ways you can do this is just before you list the home or before the home inspection happens, going through and making a couple little checks, checking on a few things, making some repairs, because a lot of these things are really little things, really easy to fix. But if you can take care of them before home inspection, it's one less thing that shows up on that list, and it's that much less overwhelming for the buyers. Decreases your chance of the deal falling apart due to home inspection and the buyers getting cold feet and thinking the house is a lemon. So let's start with some general things. Make sure the utilities are connected at the time of the home inspection. Prepare to be away for about 2 hours. That's about how long it's going to take when the inspection actually occurs. Be sure to leave out keys, garage door openers. Make sure the home inspector can access the home too. Most of them have lockbox access.
Okay.
So you can still be able to access the home that way. So make sure that they can access the attic, the electrical panel, the crawl space, and the garage walls. So if you have too much stuff piled up around the panel or something like that, or if your attic access is sealed shut, you'll want to take care of that and make sure the inspector can get in. Otherwise, they're going to have to come back, and that's just more hassle for you another time that you've got to be out of your house. So when we're talking about general stuff for the interior, make sure all windows can open up and close easily. Make sure that all the light bulbs are working. Make sure that all doors open and close easily. Make sure nail holes or punctures in walls and ceiling are fixed. Make sure your ceiling fans are working properly. Make sure that the outlets are tightly screwed into the wall. Test your sump pump to make sure it's working properly, especially people with homes that, they rarely get any water. It's pretty normal for us to find out that sump pump's been burned out for quite a while.
Exactly,
so just lift up that float and make sure that thing runs. So whenever you have any open wire splices, make sure you install junction boxes or just have an electrician install that. That's something that's going to get flagged every single time. Make sure there's smoke detectors in every bedroom and CO/smoke detector combo units in the common areas. And then insulate and weather strip your attic hatch. It's a common thing that gets
Yep.
caught on there. I think they sell kits at Lowe's or Menards to insulate.
Probably $10 maybe.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So now when we're talking about like kitchen, laundry room, bathroom, make sure all your sinks are working properly without any leaks. Make sure your hot and cold water are working properly. Check the water heater for leaks. Check your laundry connection for leaks. Check all your faucets for water pressure. And if you're not getting very good water pressure, it could be because of like hard water, mineral buildup in the little screens.
Yes,
so you can clean those out and make sure they're working good. Check your garbage disposal and dishwasher to make sure they're working and draining properly. Another thing is just make sure you have a high loop for your dishwasher. That's a thing we get caught, really often on. And then make sure that your burners and everything is working on your stove and your oven. Check for like tripped breakers, that sort of thing, something that could cause something not to work. Another common thing they'll find is double taps on breakers, but that's really common. If you want to have an electrician fix that ahead of time, it can avoid that getting flagged on the home inspection. That's when there's two things going into one breaker.
Yep.
So check your like backsplash and countertop. Make sure everything's caulked up and sealed because that's so minor, but they will flag it. Make sure you do a nice job of it.
Yeah.
There's not caulking
everywhere. And there is a difference.
Yeah. Take your time. Make sure your bathroom fans vent to the exterior. So this is a really common thing where somebody's in a rush when they install their bathroom fan, and it's just shooting all that humid air from your, after you take a shower or something, right up into your attic, which you do not want humidity in your attic.
No.
So you want it vented completely out to the outside. Not a huge fix, but it's something that will get flagged every single time, and a buyer will oftentimes ask for it if it's, if it is caught. All the outlets within 6 feet of a water source should be a GFI outlet. So it should either be on a GFI breaker or it should be a GFI outlet. You'll notice that because that's one of those outlets that have the buttons in the middle.
Yep.
So that's to protect somebody from, electrical shock whenever the water
gets
present.
wet. Yeah.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the exterior of the home. So make sure water drains away from your home. So making sure the grading is properly done. Make sure there's no negative grading where the water is going to go towards
the house. Yep.
That basically it makes your foundation wear out and settle much faster than it would otherwise, and can cause water in the basement. Fix any loose shingles or any broken or lifting spots. So check for any loose steps, loose bricks, that sort of thing, and fix them up. Make sure your handrail is secure and it's not loose because they're going to call that every time. Make sure your auto reverse, like your pressure sensor on your garage door, is working properly.
Right. Yep.
So it's not going to squish somebody
and that's just a setting.
Yep. It's just a setting. It's a safety thing. It will get called every single time. Make sure all your downspouts are connected. So if you take them off to mow, just put them back on before the home inspection. It's one less thing that's going to be on that list.
Right.
So easy. Fix all the areas where there's chipped and peeling paint. This is twofold. So first off, where there's chipped and peeling paint, water can penetrate into wood and it causes it to rot way faster.
Yeah.
So it's a preventative maintenance thing. The other thing is there's a lot of loan types that won't allow you to have any chipped and peeling paint. FHA, VA, USDA. So you're getting ahead of that because that's going to get caught on the appraisal, not the home inspection.
Okay.
Two different things. And that's if they're using a VA loan, but you should probably do this stuff before you get your house listed in the first place because you never know what type of financing the buyer is.
And a lot of these fixes you're talking about as we go through them, you can do on your own. You don't have to be a handyman to do a lot of these.
Yeah, like 90% of them.
Right.
It's just a weekend worth of little projects, and this could be the difference between you getting an offer accepted and you being excited and already planning what you're going to do with the money and maybe making an offer on your next home, and then finding out that, the buyer's got cold feet because the list was so long for the home inspection. Even though it was all tiny little stuff, it can be avoided by just doing that extra work and being prepared ahead of time. Another thing, last thing that I have written down here is check the chimney flashing on your roof, make sure it's sealed. That's another really common thing that gets flagged. So these are all so minor, but when you see all these things on a list, it makes it look like everything's wrong with the house.
Yeah.
So if you can make it so that list of things that the inspectors finds is smaller, it's going to give the buyer more peace of mind, and it's also going to help you out in negotiations, because you don't want the buyer to have a whole bunch of negotiating leverage because they have a long list of things and maybe make you fix all the things or ask for more money than it would cost to fix the things. So yep, that's everything on our home inspection preparation list.
So I would imagine, now this is, I'm going back to my son. My son and daughter-in-law sold their first place. It was a cash deal. They did not need an inspection, and all because of that. But I would imagine it makes a big difference if you're buying, say, a home that was built 8-10 years ago compared to a home that was built 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. Age of the home, you're going to have more things that get caught on there. One of the things, like an aging home might have an old hot water heater, might have an old furnace, AC unit, some old appliances. So one of the things that you can offer as a seller is offering to pay for a home warranty that covers those components for the first year. It's kind of like an additional insurance policy for the buyer to have, on those main components of the home. So that's something you can consider if you know your AC, that maybe they're working fine, but your AC, your water heater, and your furnace are all old. It's something the buyer might ask for anyway, and it's something that could put their mind at ease when they're looking at the home before they even make a decision if they're going to offer or not. But yeah, and buyers also know that older homes are going to have more things that show up on the home inspection. But usually there's no excuse for like safety hazard items.
Right.
So those things oftentimes have to get taken care of. Each home is different with home inspection. Even some new homes, they'll have a list of things, but it's oftentimes more overwhelming to look at than it really is in practice to get them fixed. People are always surprised how much, like even if you hired a handyman to fix all this stuff, it wouldn't cost you that much money.
I'm not an electrician, I'm not a contractor, I'm not a plumber, but a lot of the things you mentioned, I have fixed on my own. Even putting in outlets, things like that, it's not that hard to do if you just follow a couple of. You can YouTube it or Google it or find out how to do a lot of these things, but you're going to find out more about this with a home inspection. So, again, I learned something new every time you guys are in here. And it boils down to you should get the home inspection unless they offer you cash and say we don't need it.
Yeah, so the buyer is the one who's going to make the decision on whether they should get a home inspection or not. The seller should prepare their home for sale like every single buyer is going to do a home inspection. And it is so much more common now than when the market was, insanely hot. So prepare like your home is going to get inspected. And it'll also make it show better too, because, buyers who walk through, they'll be able to notice some of this stuff if it's off. So prepare your home right. You'll be able to get top dollar. You won't lose everything in inspection negotiations. You won't have a deal fall apart due to inspection. If you have a deal fall apart due to home inspection, it is an uphill climb when you put that home back on the market, and everybody knows that it fell apart due to home inspection. Even if it was just a bunch of little stuff, people assume the worst. Yeah. So,
and, even if it's a burnt out light bulb, you think, oh, big deal, it's a burnt out light bulb. Well, big deal. Put one in then. Put a new one in.
And it's when it becomes a compilation of things, it's all these little things add up and make it seem like a big thing.
Absolutely. If somebody wants to find out more about getting prepared for a home inspection or anything that has to do with the realty world, how do they get a hold of realty expert John Brodeen?
Yeah, if they want to become a client, my cell phone number is 701-213-5428. Give me a call or a text. And if you want to just get to know me a little bit better, learn more about real estate, follow me on Instagram and YouTube.
I guess we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yes, sounds good. Have fun in Italy.
Yeah, thank you. And you have a good weekend, my man.
You too.
All right, there you go. That's your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast, your Friday edition with realty expert John Brodeen. And we'll be back again on Wednesday with another edition of your Berkshire Hathaway bi-weekly podcast. Until then, everybody, have yourself a great Friday and have yourself a wonderful weekend.